G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are watching two of the best players in the world. Of course you'll be familiar with their names, but you know what? It's time for us to introduce them because I'm confident we're going to see an absolute banger today. Spawning in the north of the map in the colour green, playing as the House of Lancaster, the English variant, it's Beastie. And on the south side of the map in the colour pink, playing as the Rus, it's Numidan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gorge. A pleasure to have your company here on this day. What is this day? It's Sunday. Sunday for me, so it'll be Sunday for you guys as well, unless you're in New Zealand when this gets posted, in which case it's going to be Monday. So good morning, good Monday morning to you. Anyway, we got... Gosh, the voices go a bit crazy sometimes. We got ourselves a little double hunting cabin opening today. We can see the first scout in the queue. Second one going to be in queue very, very soon. You can see he doesn't have a whole lot of food in there. Has to do the forced drop-off just to make sure he can still make bail. But fortunately, he does. And indeed, we got ourselves a fun game today. I'm confident. So make sure you go ahead, hit that like button, that subscribe button, all that good stuff down below because, well, it's about to get heavy. So let's talk a little bit about this players, about what we expect. Of course, Beastie currently sitting top 10, Numidan sitting about top 20. So you'd have to say, if you're a betting man, the odds between these guys. So I guess what, $1? I'm gonna go like $1.50 for Beastie, $3 for Numidan. That's what we're gonna put it on at the moment. But you never know how it goes. It could be a Beastie loss, it could be a Beastie win. You never know which way it's gonna go on this channel. Anyway, slowly we've got that age up coming on through. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, so we'll run on board with Beastie just to check exactly what the play is here for him. Obviously, it's gonna be an early age up. We don't see any early harassment, at least, coming out at this stage of the game. Doing a decent job with the sheep as well, picking up 7 sheep so far up towards the north. We've got 9 sheep, 10 sheep now coming in for Numidan, so slightly higher. And of course, the Lancaster Castle is going to be coming down as well for Beastie, so keep in mind it's quite close. A beautiful spot he's actually got right here, so it gets both of the gold and the stone together. And we do see these 3 vills coming out, so we'll be looking to potentially move into a few manors, let's just put it that way. I doubt we're going to be seeing a second TC, at least early. Because it just makes so much sense to go with the menace. They pay off so quickly. But we'll check in with Numidan on the south side and see how he's doing, because undoubtedly we will be getting an age up coming through very, very soon. I suspect we might even have some professional scouts coming through, specifically because you're up against an English variant, so they're less likely... Ooh, interesting. Golden Gate. Not really interesting. I thought it was the Kremlin at first. and that's why I said interesting, but no, it's not that interesting. So I suspect you're probably going to see a professional scouts here. Just number one, the first giveaway is the fact that you've got the double hunting cabins, which means that you can get more scouts in the transition if you're thinking of going that way. The second option is, or the second reason why, is because you've got this hunt out in the front of the map. And it's asking for it, isn't it? I mean, when you put a hunt at the front of the map like this, compare it to like a hunt like this, there's a real difference between these two. This one is really easy to defend, whereas this one, not so much. So that's what I suspect we'll see. Whether or not we actually do, though, you'll see the gold obviously isn't trickling in as fast as it used to, which means that professional scouts still could be a way off. We'll check in on the other side of the map, though, because Beastie is about to age up. Nice timing here as well. Going to be looking around that 3-minute 40 mark. First man is going to be coming down shortly as well. You can see he's almost got enough wood in the bank for that first one. Beautiful timing here as well. I suspect these fills, yeah, they will be going back over to the gold as well, so most likely going to be looking to add in maybe even 6 or 9 manas. One of the things I'd love to see from him is like a fast Imperial. You guys know I've always been a big fan of the fast Imperial, and I feel like it just didn't take off. It didn't take off. It didn't take off anywhere near as fast as it should have. But look, there's always hope. Maybe we'll get like a delayed fast imp. There's just so much synergy when it comes to like the levies as well as just the Imperial Age. The fact that they just shadow tech, it's very nice. But age up about to come through as well for Numidan. The Golden Gate is now online for him. 4 minutes and 15 seconds. He'll do a little bit of a switcheroo, and indeed he clicks it. Go on, click it. I know you want to. Needs a little bit of wood. There we go. Now he can click it. Click it. There we go. Now he clicks it. All right, goes for this hunting cabin. So he's at 2 scouts at the moment. Going to be going into that third one as well. We'll undoubtedly be bringing all that deer back towards his base. We'll check in with Beastie. I want to see, what does Beastie know about the state of the map, the state of affairs out here? You can see he's actually dealing damage towards these deer in the top of the map. I don't know exactly what purpose this serves, other than if your opponent isn't actually going to go into professional scouts, then it would make sense, because he's like kind of chasing the deer away. So, you know, you'd have to put your hunting cabin here and then you just have a longer walk. So I think maybe that's the mindset that he's kind of got at the moment, because it's definitely not the old school mindset that he's that he's taking out deer across the map. Now, speaking of deer, we can see there's still a little bit of a push coming through. He's just trying to get them close as he can towards the front here. Deer pack open. Deer pack is open and well and truly flourishing. A lot of vills down here as well. So I suspect we might even have ourselves a little bit of a castle age timing coming in for him shortly. Meanwhile, towards the north of the map, the scout is going to be coming through, spots out exactly what Beastie's up to. We can see he's still leaving these vills here on stone, so undoubtedly we'll be looking to move into the condensed land practices relatively soon here. I suspect we're going to have it clicked up any second now. Come on, Beastie, show me what you got. Let's take a look and see. Do we have it? 3, 2, 1. There it is. Condensed land practices now going to be coming through. So that's the first 3 manas. A good timing on these as well. 6 minutes. Definitely on the faster side of things. And now Beastie spots out. Okay, it's a professional scout's play. We kind of knew that was coming, right? You're playing up against the Rus. It's likely of any civilization that the Rus is going to be going for those professional scouts nice and early. We also have survival techniques coming through as well for Numidan. Let's check in with him and see how he's doing, what the play is, whether we see a stable. It doesn't look like it at the moment. Probably just going to be selling off this wood. He's got the ability to do that. A couple more tickets in the bank. So it's almost like we've reverted back to the previous way that Age of Empires 4, or at least the Rus used to play. Very, very similar to the old style where you'd go for the Golden Gate, you'd sell your wood for all the good stuff. You've still got plenty of economy behind this as well. It's a strong opening. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Beastie continues to add in more manas. Now, judging by the amount of vills that he's got on stone, as well as the amount of vills he's got on gold here, I'd be suspecting he could even be looking to go up to 9 manas in total. So we could potentially see the open field system getting clicked up any second here. Let's wait and see. 3, 2, 1. Does he do it? I almost certainly he's going to do it right now. Do it, Beastie. Do it. I love this. If he actually goes for the full 9, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Click it. Click it, damn it. Click it, damn it. Why you got... No, he's stopped gathering wood. I think that's it. I don't think he's going to commit to any more, because if he was, he wouldn't be pulling off wood right now. So indeed, he said that's enough. Throws down the 6 and leaves it at that. So he's just collected what he needs. Now he's going to muster the nobles. So looking to drop down the 6 with the 3 vills. Mustering the nobles, so he's going to time it so that it ends right at the end here. High Trade House going to be coming in on the other side. Beautiful spot. God tier spot when it comes to the High Trade House. Look at this. He picks up 1, 2, 3 forests. Look, it could be better. We could be playing on high view or something like that, and you might be getting more than that. This is still a really good High Trade House. So very well spotted here by Numidan. Back over to the other side. You can see that just right then, we've got that last mana finished, and Beastie immediately moving into the 8. Cavalry units now beginning to make their way out towards the enemy side. Of course, they've got lower armor, lower attack, and all those lower stats, but still enough to create a bit of havoc, a little bit of panic, pandemonium even, in the base of Numidan. If he's going to get there in time, I suspect he's probably not, though. Slays a wolf. Not that it's relevant to the Rus. You know, can we get rid of the wolves now? Can we just get rid? Can we delete them? Why do we need them? We don't need them, and we don't need that annoying sound, do we? I agree with you. Anyway, moving forward, they continue. Scout towards the south side, going to get attacked by the TC. 8 minutes 30, age up. Decent little timing right here. It's got 54 trees. A decent number. And now towards the top. Looking to connect with the scout. Trying to clean it up. Of course, Beastie here just looking to put on at least a little bit of initial hurt. Now, we've got horse archers undoubtedly coming out here from Numidan. So he's going to be looking to go for a timing. We also have the monastery, so he's quite far ahead. And have a look at this placement. The White Tower in the north of the map to protect the large gold vein. He also protects a number of wood lines, as well as the berries. Technically also gets the boar in here. So this is to me, this is a bit of a head scratcher on one hand, because I feel like with the White Tower, it's just such a great defensive landmark that you kind of want it close to your base just so it can excel. But at the same time, we got to accept it for what it is. It's a defensive landmark, a keep, and there's a great reason to be putting it here. He's going to be keeping this position in, I mean, tip-top shape. There's really no way that this is going to get denied out. It's so out of the way as well. If you want to treb this down, you're going to have to bring trebuchets over here or somewhere over here. Actually, that might be a really good spot, but it's going to put you out of position. It means that you're going to potentially be flanked when you do that. So it's one of those things you got to be really cautious about attacking into. And it almost guarantees that he'll be able to secure all of these resources up towards the top. So on one hand, a curious White Tower. On the other hand, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Age up comes through now for Beastie. gets the 3 Earl's Guards to start him off. He'll be undoubtedly heading towards the middle. So what's the play here up against all of these horse archers? I suspect you're probably going to be thinking about going into yeomen, but have a look what Beastie's done. He said, you know what? We're going to go into hobblers. Now, the hobblers, to me, make a lot of sense, especially when you think about upgrading them. But Beastie hasn't gone that route. No King's College here today. First of the relics will get picked up by the warrior monk. Spots it out in the middle of the map. Of course, there will be more warrior monks down here. Expensive units to be making just out of the monastery, rather than going into anything more unique. Scout's going to be going down. Demi-Lancer's going to be able to clean it up here. Now, I feel like my levels are a little bit high here, so just give me a sec. I'm just going to turn down Age of Empires 4. There we go. Hopefully I brought them down a little bit. I think the in-game volume was a little bit loud, and I know there's going to be fights happening soon, and I'm going to be screaming at you guys over the top of it. And, well, look, I don't want my voice to disappear overnight. Let's just put it that way. Nice little patrol route up towards the top side. A couple of hobblers going to be coming in as well. Demi-Lancers, nowhere to be seen, but that's not a problem, because the warrior monk is chased away by the Earl's Guards. Meanwhile, have a look at the amount of damage those horse archers do, man. Horse archers are just notorious for the amount of annoyance that they provide to enemies. You can literally just spam only horse archers and be fine. That was back in the day. You could spam them and then the mangonels would come out. But now I feel like the mangonels, like, what's a mangonel going to do to a horse archer? You're just going to laugh at him as the mangonel tries and whiffs. I think, realistically, what is even the play here against this? I guess the hobbler makes sense, especially because it's got that heavier armor as well. I guess that's another thing to note. Heavier ranged armor. You can just kind of throw them away. They feel a little bit almost like zerglings in a way, but now he could potentially bait them back to the Wallalol, or is he just going to let it go? He's going to continue, and you can see Beastie spots it. He says, hey, I saw you. Don't even think for a second that I didn't. Very well played there by the Beast from the east. Hobblars down towards that bottom side, continuing to harass these horse archers. Meanwhile, the Earl's Guard over towards that top, continuing to... Was it a warrior monk that they took down? I think it was. I think it was a warrior monk that they took down. So Beastie doing very well with the patrol routes. Manages to get away relatively unscathed from that battle and continues to chase the warrior monk. He's doing a wonderful job just cleaning it up. Now, how's he doing on the monk side? Do we see any monasteries coming out for him? It does look like we do. We've got the monastery in the back of the base here. So the monks are out. That's the first relic for him that's being brought back. Obviously, you want to try and get that 3-2 relic control over your opponent. He's got one back in the base that's nice and safe, and it looks like the second one has been picked up. So there we go. I couldn't see exactly where it was, but we did manage to find it in the end. And he's done a great job of just putting pressure out over on towards the enemy side. Really good job just keeping the horse archers on the enemy side of the map, because what they love to do is just stay on your side and just continue kiting. It's something that they just excel at. Now Numidan, he just knows. He knows that relic's disappeared. Where could it possibly be? We'll send the horse archers, we'll send the knights, and you can see he's still got more and more of these units. The cav-only focus is going to be the play from Numidan today. The question's going to be about whether Beastie can potentially counter it. That's going to be one relic on the ground here. So Beastie with 1, Numidan with 2. And they continue to stack up more and more units. Beastie, by the way, no sign of spears at the moment. Warrior Monk trying to clinch that last relic, that third relic. He knows he's not going to get the fourth one, but the third one he may potentially do. Now a defensive Wallalol in, looking to try and force back the Beast from the east. Unsuccessfully, doesn't convert anything, but does a decent job in potentially capturing this relic. You can see that Beastie's really had to commit to this fight. More and more hobblers continuing to come through here for him. How many are we talking? We're talking 12, but the relic gets out unscathed. And indeed, Beastie says, oh, might have bitten off a little bit more than I could chew here. What's the play today for Beastie? How does he look to bring it back on this one? Because he's, look, at the end of the day, he's not going to be happy with a 3-2 relic split, but it will do. It will do for now. More mana's going to be coming through. That's going to be 9, so he maxes out on those 9 manas here. And more cav continues up the middle. Numidan in a really solid spot after securing that relic, and we see a town center now going to be coming down towards the south side of the map. Exactly what he needs to do. This feels incredibly good for Numidan. For me, at this point, my thinking is like, all we're going to do at this stage of the game is continue making units, look to transition into farms, keep spamming out villages, and when our enemy goes, we'll let our enemy go to age 4 ahead of us, and when they do, we're just going to back off the pedal, we'll go age 4 ourselves, and we'll match them. That's pretty much it. That to me, that makes the most sense here, because you're going for this second TC, you know you're going to be able to scale with your enemy, and that's the key, right? It's about scaling with your enemy, and then eventually overtaking them, because we do know that they will eventually be overtaken, these menas here. But inevitably, we will suspect that Beastie looks to put down his second TC as well, at which case Numidan probably needs to scout that, potentially even make a third TC himself, just so he can try and keep up with that economic, what's the best way to say it? With that economic speed that Beastie will have as the House of Lancaster. So 51-51 on the Ville counts at the moment, but it will go up quickly now that this second town center has been put down for Numidan. Beastie on the side of defense with the Hoblars coming out. I'll tell you what, it's been rare that I've seen people make Hoblars, especially without the King's College. So we're in for a real treat today. I'm a big fan of this unit. I think this is an incredible unit, really underrated and underused, and it's great to see it actually getting some playtime right now out on this game. But towards the north, we've got the Hoblar just patrolling up here. A couple of deer carcasses remain. Meanwhile, the Earl's Guard's getting in a little bit of action. No Ville's taken out just yet. You can see one of them very keen to get the kill, and indeed he does. I think that might have been a long-distance mace attack or a dagger throw. There was something in there, but he managed to do it. He's got a very long mace, let's just put it that way. Does he use a mace? No, he uses a warhammer, Drongo. It's different from a mace. You know, it's funny because all of those little... when it comes to weapons, like melee weapons especially, there's just tiny little differences, but that completely qualifies them as a new weapon. Like, that's not a mace, that's a warhammer. It's not a warhammer, that's a... I was going to say that's a 40k. I'll stop. I'll stop. The Warhammer blokes will get mad at me. I used to play Warhammer when I was a kid. I tell you what, I was just terrible at painting. And, you know, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, you know, because you only paint 3 times, and you're like, I'm terrible at painting. It's like, mate, nobody's just born good at painting. You got to practice. You got to get good. But, you know, that wasn't something that I knew when I was 10 years old, 11 years old. It was just like, hey, it turns out I'm not very good at this Warhammer thing. It's like, yeah, buddy, because you've been painting for 2.5 minutes. We got a bit of burning that's coming out right now. No crusades, though, today. Just the men are going to be going down. And Numidan really putting on the pressure. Now, this is also interesting to note, that Numidan putting on the pressure despite going for the second TC. Maybe senses that Beastie a little bit weak here. Because Beastie has gone for a second TC himself. And that is exactly what Numidan is sensing. That Beastie could be investing in his economy as well. Numidan just trying his best to keep up with the speed demon that is the beast. You can see the number of crossbows starting to look quite good. Underneath all of these manners, though, the defense is quite strong. He's going to try and bite off the entire army. We'll be able to kite down all of the melee units. It's only going to be the ranged units left, and Beastie going to be happy to take this fight underneath all of these defenses. And I got to tell you what, I feel like Numidan may have overextended just a little bit, you don't say. He's lost the bulk of his army here. Meanwhile, towards the other side of the map, have a look at this. 19 villagers taken out. Beastie somehow manages to defend and at the same time keeps enough units on the other player's side of the map. Takes out a huge amount of villagers. Now, of course, Numidan's going to be saying, it's fine. We've got a second TC, but I don't know whether or not he knows this, but Beastie's got his own TC back here, his own number 2. And so, if I'm in this position, I mean, how do you even play this as Numidan, right? Like, knowing what we know right now, how do you play this? If you said, okay, Numidan, you can turn on cheats just for a second just to see what Beastie's got, with all the information available to you, how do you win? I think, number 1, you have to put down another TC. You've lost so many vills, like, you've lost so many vills, right? Like, you can't go all in. That's not possible. After losing this many vills, your economy is absolutely neutered. So, you can't do that. I think, number 1, you have to put a second TC down, and number 2, you need to put a keep down, or at least, like, try and get some semblance of a defense going through. Maybe, like, sprinkled emplacements could work. Maybe that could be the play. Maybe look to try and secure up the gold vein here. I don't know if you'd necessarily put a keep in, but like a keep at the front, definitely. Maybe you could look for Imperial through Spasskaya. Maybe that could be the play, but I feel like you got to go big here. Like, in a situation like this, especially where we know that Beastie's gone for that second TC and he's already had that huge economy coming through the menace, to take a fight like that, trades that well, and at the same time, also get all those Vil kills. Like, this to me just feels like easy mode for Beastie from here. How does Beastie... Okay, let's put the shoe on the other foot. How does Beastie mess this up? He messes this up by potentially overextending into a fight that he thought he could win, but it turns out he couldn't. Kind of like the same way that Numidan kind of messed it up. So if there was a keep, like maybe Beastie got aggressive and went underneath that keep, maybe then he could do it. But like from Beastie's position, all I'd be doing here is just going imp. Like realistically, all you do, go imp, grab both of your levies here, and then just laugh at your opponent as they try and defeat your units. I think that's the way that you play it. But we'll see exactly what the plan is for Beastie. Obviously, he's got a lot of gold. The walls have started to come up as well for him. He's looking very nice and defensive in this pocket to the north. Of course, nobody's going to really be able to say anything or do anything when it comes to attacking such a beautiful little defensive position. He is so well and truly protected up there, and now he's going to add in even more walls, and I love this. Can I just say I love this? Whenever you've got like these little pockets of trees together, just putting walls all between them, it's so annoying. It's so annoying because there's always just one extra layer somewhere, and it's just one extra time that you might have to take your eyes off the ball. And speaking of eyes off the ball right now, Beastie's putting them on because he's looking for even more villagers. The Hobbler's now getting into the wood lines, into the gold mines, into... There's no farm lines, but if there were farm lines, there can be lines of farms. There's a nice line of farms back here. But if there were, you know exactly what they'd be doing it. We see 32 vills now taken down. Raid not that successful. But from Numidan's side, like, the economy for Beastie only continues to grow, and it grows at a faster rate. Well, I shouldn't say it grows at a faster rate, but he's sitting at a much higher value of resources coming in per minute right now. If we can check 3.7k for Beastie compared to his opponent who's sitting on 2.5k. And that's just because you've got these menas. These menas just sitting here giving you resources. On top of that, your villager count is going to remain consistently ahead of your opponent. So every second villager that they're creating, you're creating a second villager, and we do see that third TC, exactly what he needs. I feel like it maybe came a little bit too late. Well, I shouldn't say too late, but maybe a bit late. But like, look at all the gold that he's got in the bank here. So I'd be converting all of this into stone, or at least just gathering stone instead, because he's got a huge amount. Cancels the TC. He's going to throw the TC down at the bottom side, but he doesn't know that there's hobblers down here. There are hobblers towards the front. This is what I was saying about you need a keep, because if you think about it, right, like a keep is going to stop this in its tracks. If a keep comes through, you can try and siege it down, but the reality is you're just going to trade incredibly ineffectively underneath it. And this is part of my reasoning earlier about like just getting the keep up, then the third TC, and then maybe going into Imperial could make sense in this situation. Obviously, we know that because we had the insight here that the opponent was already on that second TC, so we kind of know what the counter is. But here you can see from the side of Numidan that he's really scrambling to get this third TC up. He knows that he needs it, but at the end of the day, whether or not he's going to be able to survive this inevitable push that comes in from Beastie, and have a look at this, we've got the Wingguard Palace now coming through for Beastie. Where does he put it down? He puts it down in the main base, right at the front. He says, hey, is he going to start spamming out of this? Do we potentially just see spam coming out from Beastie here? This could be it. He could just look to, because often people will age up with the Wingguard but don't necessarily make it. Is he just going to get a whole bunch of spears out? Maybe that's the play. Oh, you know what? That's totally the play. Look at all of these horsemen that he's seen. Numidan's going to try and cut him before he can even go for it. Now, does Numidan know about the age up? I don't think he does. But he might suspect that with Beastie backing off, like Beastie came in for an attack and then backed out. Maybe he knows that something is up. This could be a decent timing here for him. And now Beastie on the other side looking to upgrade Yeoman, spots out the age up. This could be it. He's trying everything he can to get back into this game. He thinks he may have found a way through. He stopped the age up, at least for the moment. Underneath the town center, there are plenty of crossbows, and you can see the amount of horsemen that he's got. This is perfect for Numidan. Exactly what he needed. The timing was absolutely on the money, but Beastie's got a beautiful amount of crossbows in the back of the base. Plenty of funneling that's going to be happening here. You can see all of the horsemen trying to run around and make connections here. At the same time, the hobblers towards the front just soaking up all of these damage from these units. And meanwhile, the Manas continue to defend. He's tried his best to get underneath, but I suspect that the age up might be coming through anyway. You can just sneak these vills out right here. I don't even know if you need the arrows at this point. And the crossbows have done a wonderful job of continuing to kite into these lumber camps, into these houses, and just been so annoying. You can see it's really difficult to get coverage despite having such a mismatch when it came to the units. And there's the units now coming, or the villagers now coming out from Beastie here underneath the town center. That's the age up that's going to come through, and from here I think you just click Spearman a whole bunch of times. Actually, let's click that one instead. And that's exactly what is going to happen. He's also going to call in the levy. Oh, it throws down the racks. Oh, Lord. He is activating beast mode. We can say that right now. Like, oh gosh, look at that unit mismatch as well. So this is, you know, earlier how I was saying about like the keep. This is the perfect time for it. But I guess the trouble that you've got is even if you go into the keep, then the enemy can just go into the gunpowder contingent, or they could just look to get, you know, culverins out themselves. So you're going to need to be able to match them. You're going to need to find a way to not only get up to Imperial, but find a way to answer that siege. That's the other thing. So it buys you time to have it. And by the way, we see more vills going down on the back line as well as the Hobblars look to try and take them out. So I feel like even with the keep at the front, it's good. The trouble that he had, okay, was going into all those horsemen, you have to fight before Imperial. Because the moment Imperial comes through, it's just straight away. It's going to be spear, 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 spear. They come out so quickly. They come out so quickly and they're so cheap that there's really no, there's no counter to that with what you've got at that stage. Like, of course, you can just spam horse archers, but they're just coming out too quick, too fast. Do we start to see upgrades on the side of Beastie? Indeed we do. Veteran Spear, followed up by Elite Yeoman. He's called the Levy through as well, so the unit number is just going to be absolutely burgeoning at the moment. Spasskaya Tower, he's got to try and rush it in the front of the base. All in on Spasskaya Tower. Moving the vills forward. Beastie now going to spot this out, sees all the villagers here. You can look at the number of units that are coming through for Beastie. He doesn't do it. He's not able to take it. Ladies and gentlemen, Nimadun taps out, and Beastie is victorious with a beautiful timing that gets him there at the very end. Ladies and gentlemen, go check him out. Links in the description of where you can catch him live. And of course, we will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.